Morning, dear members of the Commission and students. Today is our first presenter is Tusumbayeva Kibar Tiyakuza. And your topic is the role of native language in second language acquisition, a comparative study. And your scientific advisor is Doctor of Philosophy Sadullayeva Alker Zamanova.
In the first place, good morning, dear teachers, the dean of faculty, and our professors, and of course, the students. It's a very big honor for me to stay here and present my qualification work for this kind of defense. So my topic is the role of native language in second language acquisition, a comparative study. So in the first place, what is a native language? Native language is the language of our childhood, the language in which we started to speak. And of course, this is the language to which our brain is settled. And we can say that in the journey of our life, we study lots of foreign languages. And it can be some kind of easy for us, some people, or it can be some kind of difficult for some. It ultimately depends on the native language. So how the people's second language and the study of the second language can be impacted on the first language. So in the first place, at the beginning stage of learning any language, we should learn the grammatical structures, the pronunciation, the syntax of the second language with the use of the first language. So if someone's first language is Kazakh language, for them it will be very easy to learn the Uzbek language because of the fact that the grammatical structures and syntax are kind of similar to each other. Or in the beginning stage of any language learning, we can say that learning pronunciation, learning lots of idiomatic expressions can be very easy if we learn this with the help of the first language. So the next one is the meaning making and bridging the gap. Of course, in the second language acquisition, we can have very lots of difficulties, and there are lots of gaps that cannot be understood with the help of L2 itself. That's why L1 is very important in order to ultimately and generally understand what's going on in the second language. So the next one is about building confidence. If we learn the second language with a very good confidence, so we can say that if we learn some kind of language, lingua structures with the help of L1, we can say that we are building kind of confidence and we are making ourselves sure that this is not the mistaken form and this is the right form of using the L2. So when it comes to advanced stage of learning languages, so how advanced learners of the second language can use their first languages? So there are four.
Isn't it okay if we start asking questions if you have? So, well, let's imagine that your group is the students or learners level is advanced. In this case, do we need native L1?
Of course we need, because we have very interesting words like false friends. For example, the word sympathetic in English language doesn't literally mean sympathishny in the Russian language, yes? But lots of people and lots of students, even if they are in the advanced stage of the language learning, they can kind of mistake them because they are written in the same form, but their meaning is kind of different. Or the word in Russian language "aktuальный" doesn't really mean actual in the English language. So in order to kind of know in which situations use true false friends, we should learn, we should use the L1. And of course, in order to
Isn't it a good idea to use definitions, synonyms, or just short passage like in order not to use L1 if the group is advanced enough?
Yes.
Or should we use again and again L1?
I think not in all cases, because in order to know the translation of one word in the second language, a teacher should provide some interesting definition of this word in the L2 in order to make them utilize the L2 in a very appropriate way.
Thank you.
Our next student is Karine Shorokina Mladze, and her topic is developing grammatical skills during the foundational stage in primary education. And her scientific advisor is candidate of pedagogical science, Joshua Zenek.
First of all, good morning to all respected teachers, esteemed professors, and the dear fellow students. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to share with you today my graduation thesis, which is titled Developing Grammatical Skills During the Foundational Stage in Primary Education. So first, this topic has been chosen not only because grammar is a core competence, because grammar plays a vital role in the development of literacy, cognitive abilities, and the communicative competence, especially in the early years of youngsters' education. First, let me begin with the relevance of my research. Um, in Uzbekistan, educational reforms have prioritized the early foreign language learning. However, despite this growing attention, grammar instruction in primary schools often remains traditional, passive, and robotic. And the aim of my research was to explore and demonstrate how grammar can be taught more effectively, engagingly, and meaningfully during the foundational stage of primary education, especially in Uzbekistan. Here. Um, also, I looked forward to investigate how children best apply grammar and how teachers can facilitate this process, the process of investigating the grammar. And the next one is, this led me to define several specific objectives. First one was to explore the importance of grammatical competence in early language development. So it means grammar serves as a structural backbone of language. It enables children to think critically, and to read with the best comprehension and to write with an organized and coherent manner. And the second one, to identify common grammatical difficulties encountered by primary learners. For example, many young learners often struggle with verb tenses or article usage and the prepositions. These difficulties are influenced by their cognitive development and the way the grammar is taught. And the third one, to evaluate traditional and modern approaches to grammar instruction. First, traditional methods rely upon memorization and the drills. However, modern and learner-centered approaches integrate grammar into communicative, playful, and meaningful tasks, making the learning more enjoyable and effective for children. And the next one is to propose and test practical activities that improve grammar comprehension. This includes songs, movement-based tasks, and so on. And the last one is to access how technology and the play-based learning can enhance grammar acquisition. So, by incorporating platforms like Kahoot or quizzes and interactive storytelling, we observed increases student engagement and a better retention of grammar structures. And the next, my hypothesis was the following. If primary school teachers implement child-centered interactive grammar instruction using multimedia and the contextual activities, then young learners will show significant improvement in both grammar comprehension and the overall language fluency. So this hypothesis was tested through my surveys and classroom observation and the pedagogical experiments during practical part of my research. And the next one about theoretical framework. The research is theoretically grounded in the works of renowned scholars. Um, First, Noam Chomsky's continuous theory. It emphasizes that grammar is innate and naturally acquired through exposures. Next one about Vygotsky's social-cultural theory. It supports the idea that grammar learning is enhanced through interaction and scaffolding. Scaffolding means helping students step by step or briefly explain the topic or something under the student do it by their own. So principles from communicative language teaching and the task-based language teaching inform the pedagogical approach of my research. The next one is about structure of my thesis. So my thesis structured into two main chapters with an introduction, conclusion, and the list of references. The first chapter about theoretical background. In this chapter, I explore the significance of grammar in early literacy and the communication. I reviewed the work of Chomsky and the other scholars to understand how children acquire the grammar and how teachers can adapt this process, the process of acquiring grammar. And the next one, traditional and modern grammar teaching methods. I compared rule-based teaching with communicative and inductive approaches methods. And the last one, an analysis of common grammatical challenges faced by learners, such as confusion between verb tenses. For example, they may use incorrectly the prepositions and the articles or just simple sentences. For example, they may use is raining instead of it is raining. It's very simple sentence, but for young learners, it's maybe difficult. So, second chapter. In the second chapter, I present detailed classroom activities, including storytelling, games, chants, and role playing, and other technology-based tasks. Also, I propose alternative approaches to grammar assessments, using tools like journals, observation logs, peer review, and the digital platforms. Also, I analyze data from surveys distributed to teachers and the students here in Kazakhstan. And finally, I summarize my practical recommendations to improve grammar teaching as a primary education, at the primary level. So next, about key findings. Through classroom observations and pedagogical experiment and surveys conducted among 20 teachers and 60 students, the following key findings emerged. As you can see on the screen, 78% of students reported enjoying grammar lessons when they included songs, videos, games or stories, shortly interactive tasks. So, 32% of students struggled, most with verb tenses, forms, and the article usage. And 36% of teachers expressed a need for training and materials that support integrated grammar instructions. The next one is also I recommendations, practical and theoretical contribution. So in conclusion, this thesis has shown that grammar often considered a dull or boring or difficult subject, but it can be transformed into one of the most engaging and empowering aspect of language learning. So I hope that this research serves as a small but meaningful contribution to improve language education in Uzbekistan and beyond. That's all. Also, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to all the teachers and to my scientific advisor, Zeynep Hürmetulaina, to your guidance and the invaluable guidance. That's all.
So, questions? We got
Okay, thank you, Rufina. Oh, Henry Rufina. Just I have one question. What kind of difficulties did you face during your research work?
I faced lots of difficulties. The main one was so in the whole classroom, the levels of students is different. One of them A1, A2, and the difficulty was to adapt their levels and to explain the topic.
My next question. You have addressed different types of assessment tools in your research. Can you just clarify or just give example for one, several examples?
I explore both formative and summative grammar assessment. So formative assessment includes grammar journals, peer reviews, exit tickets, and observation logs. I also explore summative assessment, consists of contextualized writing tasks and the portfolio submissions rather than just grammar tests.
I have a question. What innovative techniques do you use with your reflective tasks?
Innovative techniques. I use lots of techniques. First,
Techniques are the same as methods.
I use very basic tasks, integrate grammar into stories,
Yes.
games in the real life context, and also I balance implicit and explicit instructions. Also, I use
okay. In your subject, there is a given that new approach techniques and methods of teaching grammar. So, what is a new approach?
your approach is like methods to the process to explain the method to children it will explain the task in different ways.
Thank you.
Our next student is led by Jasmine Abdulmutan. And her topic is methods for incorporating various types into English lessons, and her scientific advisor is candidate pedagogical science, Joshua Zeynep.
Good morning, dear professors and guests and fellow students. My name is Lydia Jasmina, and now I'm going to present my thesis work on methods for incorporating various text types into English lessons. Let's start with the relevance of the topic. The integration of various text types into English lessons is not only a methodological preference, but it's a response to the evolving demands of society to educational demands. So, teaching English is not only about grammar drills or new vocabulary drills, but it also includes developing various kinds of skills with the help of tools that we use in teaching. So in my research, relevance of the topic is integration various text types into English lessons, the enhancement of methods, effective methods in using text types into English lessons. Okay, the next one is research aim and objectives. The aim of this work is to explore effective methods for integrating various text types into English lessons and review theoretical approaches to using text in language learning and compare traditional and modern approaches and propose practical solutions to various kinds of problems that can occur during teaching English with the help of texts. Okay, our object of research is English language, and the subject is application of different text types into English lessons. So, the next one. Theoretical background of teaching text English with the help of texts. So, the first one is TALO. It's text as a linguistic object. We know English teaching in learning any kind of language, the basis, and it's really fundamental to know its new vocabulary and grammar. So here we can see that with the help of texts, we can enrich our vocabulary and try to use various kinds of grammatical structures in their natural habitat, let's say, to be. So in text, we can see how the words are correctly used and grammars, how the grammar is connected with each other. The next one is TABI, so text as a vehicle of information. When we read something, we do not only get some kind of words or grammar, we also can learn and get some kind of idea of the culture of the native speakers of this language, culture, their values, and information about them. And the next one is TASP. TASP, we can just.
Can we conclude?
Okay, absolutely. The conclusion. In conclusion, incorporating various text types into English lesson is really important to enrich students' vocabulary as well as their grammar structure. However, these are not the only things that text types can give to teacher and student. They also can help us to improve and develop our skill sets needed in modern world. Because now we do not only need words, but we need how to think critically and think analytically with the help of texts. And also I want to mention that with the help of text, we can get into real life usage of words and grammars that we use.
And our next student is Kumbaya Medina Banu Azamat Kızı, and her topic is using multimedia tools in foreign language teaching to enhance oral and written communication. National scientific advisor is Dr. Kostya Shamat.
Good morning, dear members of the Station Commission and dear supervisors, teachers, and students. My name is Satsumaya Mohammed, and let me express my sincere gratitude for the opportunity to present my graduation thesis titled Utilizing Multimedia Learning Resources in Foreign Language Teaching to Develop Oral and Written Communication Skills. And this topic is of great personal and professional interest to me, and I believe it holds real value for modern education, especially in teaching English to young learners. First, introduction. The limits of we live in a time when digital technologies learns us in nearly every aspect of life. Education is no exception. With the development of new tools and platforms, teachers now have the opportunity to transform traditional classrooms into vibrant, interactive spaces that can meet the needs of today's learners. In particular, when teaching English as a foreign language to primary school students, one of the main challenges is to keep learners engaged while building strong foundational communication skills. Children at this age are naturally curious, energetic, and visual. They learn better when lessons include color, sounds, movement, and interactivity. The main purpose of my research was to determine how effective multimedia sources are in helping young learners develop oral and written communication skills in English. Uh, to achieve this goal, I focused on the following research objectives. First is to study technological and pedagogical foundation for using multimedia in language teaching. Language teaching is especially relevant to the development of speech in older learners. Second is to explore various types of multimedia tools and teaching as that are appropriate and effective for primary school students. And, um, Practical experiment. A key part of my research was a pedagogical experiment conducted in first grade classrooms. Two groups of students participated. The control of was the control group was taught using traditional methods, mainly textbooks, writing exercises, and frontal instructions. The experimental group was taught using multimedia tools. This included PowerPoint presentation with images and animations, audio dialogues for listening practice, interactive online exercises and games, video-based speaking tasks, and story creation activities using digital tools. In these works, the author is guided by the following methods. First is theoretical, includes an analysis of scientific methodological and technological pedagogical literature, as well as thematic electronic resources regarding the problems of using multimedia in process of educational activities in English lessons. First is empirical testing, conversation, questioning, observation of English language teaching practices in primary schools. Teaching writing is based on analytical work on sounds, words, phrase, sentence, paragraph, and written notice. Written action are usually performed spontaneously with
constant activity or sound. Activity or sound. The process of writing, as you know, begins with internal broadcasting, and it is in domestic broadcasting that the program of statements is prepared, the selection of lexical units, the grammatical design of sentences, and their logical combination. Inter paragraphs are carried out. Video film is a technology for developing and demonstrating moving images and video players, video management programs. Lessons using video materials in the process of teaching foreign language. Listening can increase the effectiveness of the teacher's teaching activities. Since video materials are examples of authentic language communication, make the process of mastering foreign language material more lively, interesting, uh, problematic and emotional. The fact that written speech was not the goal of teaching in foreign language was the reason that little attention was paid to this issue in the methodological literature. And the reason for this is that, first of all, a solid foundation of grammar and spelling skills is laid, but writing technique skills are not formal. Another reason for this may be insufficient number of exercises for each stage of teaching writing textbooks and teaching aids that are used in schools. In conclusion, my research has demonstrated that multimedia learning resources significantly enhance the development of oral and written communication skills in young learner English learners. These tools not only increase motivation and engagement, but also make the learning process more dynamic, student-centered, and effective.
Well, thank you, Madam Obama. The topic is about multimedia tools. Yes. What can you say about why are multimedia tools important in education? Multimedia means it's audios,
Also,
videos,
videos, learning.
Is it important in education?
This is important. Multimedia learning resources such as videos, animations, audio recordings, interactive quizzes, animation games help create such an environment and help us to learn new language, and help us speaking and writing.
And of course, it's make learning more interesting.
Okay, what is the object of your research work?
It's the overall process of developing oral and written communication skills in young English learners, and the subject is more specific. It is use of multimedia educational resources and resource in English lesson is primary school level.
Okay, thank you.
Our next unit is on Mara Shazira Shalpasar. Your topic is the role of artificial intelligence in teaching English language. And your scientific advisor is Dr. of Philosophy Jumanya Zakharisa.
Well, good morning, dear teachers.
students. Today I am very proud to present my topic. The title of which is the role of artificial intelligence in teaching English language. Today, artificial intelligence is not something like science fiction. It's coming more and more globally. So, if you take artificial intelligence and language learning, we can say that artificial intelligence helps us to move from the one-size-fits-all traditional system to a more like learner-centered methods. Well, and the aim of my study, well, I wanted to explore how AI helps us to modernize traditional methods and and also the fact that like our government also supports AI in language learning system, such as for example here we see Digital Uzbekistan 2013. We can clearly say that the government wants also to have like to integrate AI more into the language teaching process. Well, I want to mention about the structure, like briefly mention about the structure of my work. Well, in the first part, my work is consisting of two parts, two chapters, theoretical one and the practical one. If we take the theoretical part, in the theoretical part, I have mentioned about how AI transforms traditional methods. Well, it is not just replacing traditional methods, it is giving new life to the traditional methods by giving something new and not just by replacing. And if we take practical part, in the practical part, I have mentioned about my practice during my university years and my teaching practice at the school, our practical. And well, as we conclude, we can clearly say that AI is not just a global trend; it is a tool, and like any other tool, it's it can help. Like its help depends on how we use it, and if we look like the aim of my study is to show you that AI is not just replacing the teachers. So I want to say that if we use AI with the help of the teachers and with the help of the learners, we can create, we can have the whole power of AI.
Our next student is Iskandar Bashirullah Water. Topic is implementing situation English teaching strategies in secondary schools. And your time is right is Good morning to all respected teachers and professors, dear students. My name is Iskandar Bashirullah, and I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to share with you today the findings of my graduation thesis titled Implementing Situational English Teaching Strategies in Secondary School. Let me start this presentation. Introduction. This presentation explores effective strategies for teaching English in secondary schools using situational methods, emphasizing practical applications. The sessions covers various teaching techniques that engage students, enhance language skills, and prepare them for real-world communication. Next, role-playing activities. Role-playing activities immerse students in real-life context, allowing them to practice language skills in engaging way by assuming different roles. Students improve their conversational abilities, develop confidence, and learn to navigate various social interactions. This method encourage creativity and collaboration among learners. And real-life scenarios. Utilizing real-life scenarios in teaching enables students to apply their language skills to practical situations. This approach helps learners connect their studies to everyday experiences, enhancing relevance and retentions. By engaging in simulation or problem-solving tasks, students gain valuable insights into effective communication in diverse contexts. And group discussions. Group discussions foster collaborative learning, encourage students to express their thoughts and engage with their peers. And these interactive methods promotes critical thinking and enables exploration, diverse viewpoints, and enhance language proficiency. By collaborating in a supportive environment, students learn effective communication and listening skills. And assessment methods. Formative assessment techniques such as quizzes, peer reviews, and informal checks provide ongoing feedback to force students. This approach helps identify any weaknesses, allowing education to adapt instruction to meet individual needs. Incorporating formative assessments creates an interactive learning environment where students feel supported in their educational journey. And feedback and reflection. Feedback and reflection are essential components of the learning process. Constructive feedback helps students understand their performance and areas for improvement, while reflection encourages self-assessment and personal growth. By integrating this practice, educators can enhance students' learning experience and fosters and growth mindset. And peer assessment. Assessment involves students evaluating each other's works, promoting and critical evaluation skills. This method allows learners to engage in constructive criticism while gaining insights into different perspectives, and implementing peer assessment can boost confidence, enhance communication skills. In conclusion, implementing situational English teaching strategies effectively engages students and enhance their learning experience by utilizing a variety teaching methods and assessment techniques. Um, Educators can develop students' the language skills in practical context, preparing them for real world applications and communication. That's all.
Iskandar, what are the types of situations in your work for enhancing speaking skills?
Speaking skills,
Types of situations.
um, types of situation speaking skills, real life scenarios, and role playing activities, feedback and recommendations, and peer assessment, and formative assessment techniques.
The real life situations you want here,
Yes.
artificial situations,
Artificial
or
and
role
playing
playing.
games.
Thank
Yes.
Hello, Margarita. Your topic is implementing situational English teaching strategies. Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of situational teaching strategies is it providing in your research?
In your research, in your research, providing in our research, providing, for example, group discussions, fosters collaborating, learning, encourage students to express their insight, their thoughts, and engage with their peers.
Okay, thank you. My next question again is just something somehow related with my previous one. Okay, can we just use this kind of situational teaching in higher institutions, and what kind of effect do we get from it? Can we just implement or can we use the situational teaching methods in higher education? And what will be the objective or why is it important?
Also formative assessments, such as quizzes, peer reviews.
Okay, thank you.
Like to all of them. The topic is implementing situations. Yeah? What is it?
Advantages. Advantages is this implementing situational effective English for teaching in secondary school using emphasizing practical applications. Advantages covers various teaching techniques and engaging students enhance language skills.
That's all?
Our next student is Shubhaiba Martina Asanbakaza. Her topic is using game techniques in teaching English for kids. Her scientific advisor is candidate of syllabus for science for one Zahanika Daksai. Good morning, dear members of the commission. My diploma thesis is titled Using Game.
Not my hour.
Our diploma thesis is titled Using Game Techniques in Teaching English for Kids. So, the structure of our thesis consists of two main chapters. Uh, first chapter, theoretical aspects of the effective methods of teaching kids. This chapter includes four key parts, each addressing the foundational concepts behind using game techniques in teaching English to children. So, relevance of the topic. We know that game-based learning is essential in the modern education. It helps children engage, understand, and enjoy English lesson, support from the educational reforms, and early language introduction makes this topic highly relevant. So, goal and objectives. Goal to explore and apply game-based methods in teaching English to children. Objectives: analyze theoretical foundations, identify practical tools and games, examine teacher perspectives, show game impact on motivation and skills. Next, please. In this section, we explain that teaching English to children differs significantly from teaching adults. It requires the teacher to consider the child's psychological, emotional and linguistic developments. I know that the first chapter is connected with the theoretical part, but I want to emphasize that when we had a chance to practice at schools like we faced it with the students which has some problems with their health. So in this case, we used special cards with the name of the animals, with the name of the things, and we used new game techniques and spent more time than other students. Communicative teaching methods. So this section focuses on the communicative approach, which is the foundation of the modern language teaching. We explain that children don't learn best by memorizing rules. They learn through the real life use of language in interactive context. So I also want to mention that in our practice, we use the game technique, which I call it karaoke, and I we try. I give our students the task, find the song and remember the song's words and try to sing it together. Of course, in the beginning of the lesson, only the students which remember the words of the song sings, but during the lesson and end of the lesson, we sing this song together. For this task, I use the song by Shakira. Let's try everything. And this song has very simple words like try everything. And the second song was the Bruno Mars song, which call it Count on Me. We sing together simple words like you can count on me like 1, 2, 3, and the songs like this is very simple to repeating other students. Even they don't know the full text of the song, they repeat and sing together with us. So next, okay, principles. Principles of learning and language learning. We identify the core principles of child education: accessibility, consistency, activity, and emotional engagement. We argue that language is best acquired when the child listens, reacts, moves, and communicates. We think this to Lev Vygotsky's theory of the zone of proximal development, where children progress with say and supported slightly beyond their comfort zone. We mean that if we have one student which a little bit acts not like other students, so these students will try to speak like other students, try to speak like them, and if one bad students study any language with other students in his age, it's maybe one of the best methods. For example, I have a little cousin. Her age is 2 years, and she is always repeat the things which do his brother. So next one, please. Essential tools and essential tools and we use AI programs and game methods and write blackboard and the cards. And we should, as a teacher, we should adapt the new games to the mood of the class and the age of the students. Okay. To summarize, yeah, to summarize, our research shows that game-based techniques are not just tools for entertainment. They are powerful educational strategies that motivate children, make English fun and meaningful, improve memory, creativity, and communication, support emotional and social development.
So, questions?
Thank you for your presentation. What is the difference between using the games in the kindergarten and at the university?
When we use games at the university, we try to find games more difficult when we use more logic strategies and something like this. Because when game is very simple, we get bored. But at the kindergarten also, the children want to very funny game, but the teacher should understand that we don't. We try to don't. We we try to don't lose our life between discipline and having fun. So we choose games which adapted for the age, but at the moment, in the same moment, uh, this game should like children should like this game.
Okay, my next question. Can you just give exemplify some games that can be used in university and in the kindergarten?
When we play with my group mates, I prepared the game. I adapted this game for my group mates. I use the just paper and write the difficult words, and my group mates try to explain this word to each other in 2 minutes or 1 minute. When I work at the kindergarten, um, games like this don't work. Don't work. In that place, I more use repeating words like I use games like Simon Says and more repeating words.
Thank you.
So, in the second chapter is given what to do with the mistakes, how to deal with mistakes.
So we should be careful with giving comments when our students do a mistake because they are children and if we say our comments very strongly, they can start to don't like English. So we should be careful and if our comments meaningful or with respect. And our last student is Dr. Maris Wabatovic. Your topic is problems of teaching physiological units in secondary schools, and your scientific advisor is candidate of philological science, State Academic Survival.
My only graduation thesis of the topic is programs of teaching physiological units at secondary schools. This topic is important because physiological units identity expressions play a crucial role in mastering English. Yet they present significant challenges for learners and teachers, especially in the context of national schools. Relevance and aim of the research. Uh, Physiological competence is essential for achieving fluency and naturalness in English. However, mastering physiological units is often difficult due to their complex structure and semantics. In linguistic schools, the teaching of physiology is often insufficient and outdated, which affects students' ability to use this expression effectively in speech. The aim of my research is to analyze the problems of teaching physiological units at secondary schools and to propose effective methods and for their better acquisition and research. Next one. Objectives and hypotheses. The main objectives of my research are first to identify the challenges learners face in understanding and using physiological units. Second, to study the difference between English physiological units and their equivalents or lack thereof in the native language. Research to investigate the types of interference that complicate the phraseology learning. And next, to evaluate current teaching materials and methods. To develop recommendation for improving the teaching process. My hypothesis is that a methodological, contextualized, and interactive approach to teaching physiological units will improve learners' comprehension and active use of these expressions. So, theoretical framework. My study is based on linguistic theories of physiology and language interference, drawing works by scholars such as Amasova